Doing a brake job, front brake job on a 2014 Mercedes 350 GLK. The first thing's the lug nuts. I've never dealt with these. This is a new to me car. It's got these star caps on the lug nuts. If the star cap stays on, you take a 17 to get it off. Sometimes they'll pop right off. It takes a 16 to get the actual, that's the actual size of the head under that cap. So taking the wheel off, getting ready to get into it. So caliper's removed. It's these two bolts right here that hold the caliper on. They're on there pretty tight. I took an impact to get them off. It's 9/16 goes on that star head there, and will work. Because I don't have the proper, I don't know if that's a Torx head, but anyway, the proper socket for that, but a 9/16 regular will work to get those off. Got it off, hanging by a bungee on the strut, and getting ready to pull the pads out and do some replacement. So we're going back with the pads. Pro tip here, I learned something. You can separate the caliper from the frame that holds the pads in. That's done by these two bolts here, go in there, here. So anyway, that's about the only way you can get the retaining clips in this frame assembly. These are original, they're one piece. The replacements I got they're not linked together with this little bridge here, but yeah, they're not bad. I've got the outside ones in, but that's the only way you can get the new clips in, is by separating this assembly here from the caliper. So something I didn't cover was collapsing the pistons in the caliper, and you can see them right there in this shot where the piece that's hanging by the bungee, the tarp strap, it's got two pistons in there. You just put C-clamps on them, collapse them in. Very simple procedure. You got to be mindful of your brake fluid reservoir level though. As you're collapsing though, it adds fluid back into the reservoir. If brake fluid's never been added to the system, you're good. You'll be okay. But if brake fluid has been added, you will wind up having to extract brake fluid by the time you get to the second. I did the front brakes on this. By the time you do the second one, you'll probably have too much fluid in the reservoir, and you'll have to extract that out. But there had been no brake fluid added, so I was good. By the time I'd collapsed the pistons on both calipers on the front, my fluid level was back up to perfect. So that's just worth noting. Trying to get you in here to see, once you get you can get the pads in this frame, this assembly that holds the pads separate from the caliper. It's a two-piece deal. But I was just trying to give you a shot of that. I don't know if you can see that. That's with the new clips in, new pads, ready to put the caliper back on, bolted in right here, and it'll be ready to go. You really didn't have to take these out. I think it's easier. You just go ahead and take the whole thing off and then bust it loose, but then break it into these two pieces, the frame and the caliper. Anyway, getting ready to go back with it. All right, getting ready to do the other side, the passenger side front on this Mercedes. It's 2014 GLK 350. What prompted me to even check them was it's got an indicator light at the dash. Says check your brakes, and that's because there's a sensor right here. I've already took the little the bolt out of it that bolts it to the caliper. Trying to get the light on, but yeah, just unplug it there from the harness and put it back in place. And the new brakes come with a new sensor. And you know, I thought, the brakes look like they still got plenty left on them, but you can see they didn't. That's the new versus the old. So yeah, it was 2/3 of the way worn, or better. But yeah, one sensor on the passenger side, and that's it. Getting ready to tear into this one. All right, there it is, all back together. New pads installed. Put the caliper and the brake pad frame all back together. Bolt there, and then another one on the bottom side. And there's the new brake wear sensor that comes with the pads. It mounts just a little bolt right there, the piece that comes from the car, and then that plugs in to the harness from the car. Pretty slick. Getting ready to road test.